It's the easiest thing in the world to do a video after an old firm, after any derby that your team's won the game. With today, obviously, that's not the case. Celtic won the game 2-0 today. The actual, before the goal scored, there wasn't really that much in the game. Neither team was that great. Both teams pretty sloppy on the ball, if it thought to be fair. The opening goal that was scored for Celtic could have very easily been prevented. A very poor pass forward by Goldson. Mikey Johnson does well for Celtic, slips the ball into Edouard. Still got a fair wee bit to do, but he finishes smartly under Alan McGregor. And I knew when he got into that situation he was going to score. It was always going to be very difficult for McGregor to stop in that situation, but Goldson's pass was so poor. Celtic would get a second goal late on as well, when Rangers were really pushing for the equaliser. So it's one of these ones where it wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for the fact that we were pushing for the equaliser. We just kind of caught short-handed at the back. But the lack of quality in Rangers play today was unbelievable. We towards the end of the game, the amount of crosses and corners we had, and throughout the game, to be honest, crosses and corners that we had that just absolutely so poor. Not beating their first man. Celtic winning the ball every time. I mean, I'll give them huge credit in terms of how they dealt with those situations. I mean, you don't know if it's just that they've dealt with it so well, or the quality is so poor, or it's a bit of both. But I think overall I would say that they probably edged it. I mean, they were more dangerous in the final third. In the final third, we looked short of ideas, really poor. But before I go into the next bit, I'm not going to be one of these Rangers fans that's going to turn around and say, "Oh, Steven Gerrard needs to go" and all that. You all know I'm a big proponent of his, big supporter of his. I think he's done a fantastic job. Once again, he's got us into Europa League group stages. This time it was arguably a lot harder. I mean, Legia Warsaw is a better side than the team we played last year from Russia. I can't remember who. Ufa it was, or was it them, or was it the? I think it was Ufa. I know we played someone else as well, but anyway. I'm going to criticise this. Why he was why Morelos didn't start over Jermaine Defoe, I don't really know. I mean, I know that there's the issue with Morelos from last season that he has a tendency for getting sent off in these games, or particularly if he's playing against Aberdeen for some reason. But I mean, I've kind of noticed from when he's been playing this season, he looks a lot more mature. He's not really getting involved as much, so I think it would have been well worth the risk. I mean, especially when you're gonna. This is the most kind of damning thing, that we didn't play with any wide players. There was no Jordan Jones, no Ojo. I don't know what's happened to Greg Stewart. I can't remember. I can't remember the last time I really kind of seen him play. I mean, he might have played the St Mirren or the Hibs game certainly, but I don't even think he was in the squad for today. I mean, Doherty as well, I think would have been a good option on the bench, and as far as I know, he wasn't really on the bench either. So selection-wise, Gerrard got it wrong, to be honest with you. Starting Jermaine Defoe over the top of Alfredo Morelos. Defoe is still got something to offer in certain games. He can score goals, but he's 36 years old. He's not gonna. He never really looked comfortable. I mean, even when he was one-on-one with a kind of player, he never really looked like he was capable of beating him. I mean, if that was Jermaine Defoe of 5-10 years ago, he would have done so. But playing without wide players is just. It's ludicrous, because you're just playing into Celtic's hands. It was like playing with five midfielders. Glenn Kamara again was really poor. I mean, for some reason his form's just taken like a huge dip. So yeah, he got the selection wrong. I don't know why Ojo or Jones wasn't starting, because we're always a better team when we're at least playing one wide player. I know we tend to just play one, and then maybe Arfield will kind of play almost as a right central midfielder, if you like, but a bit more advanced. It's just very disappointing, really. I mean, this was at Ibrox, and we really should have asked a lot more questions of Celtic, and there was no quality, no quality whatsoever. I mean, Forster barely had a save to make. McGregor did have to make quite a few saves, not quite, but he had to make quite a few saves at the other end. But it wasn't as Celtic were particularly brilliant today. I mean, the first goal could easily have been prevented, the second goal as well. So. Very poor. I mean, give credit to Celtic though. They've obviously gone to Ibrox, a place that they really struggled at last season. Lost both games, didn't score a single goal, and they've got the win. And obviously the momentum's with them, so it's up to Rangers to try and respond after the international break. The other game I seen today was the North London derby. I didn't see all of it, but I can basically say what I seen. Arsenal started the game the brighter team. They were playing quite well, and then There's a situation where Lamella's played in behind, has a pretty tame shot at goal, and it's a really poor goalkeeping by Leno. Really should have pushed it away further. And Ericsson, to be fair to him, he's aware to the chance and rolls the ball in for 1-0. And then Tottenham were on top at that point, and they would get a second goal, a penalty to Tottenham. Xhaka slides in on. I can't remember who he slid in on. But he slides in on, I think it might have been Kane actually, slides in on Kane. Didn't get booked for it for some reason, which I'm going to come back to anyway. And Harry Kane slotted home the penalty for 2-0. There was another shot as well, I think before the end of the first half, where again Leno had a shot taken at him and he wasn't convincing. I rate him as a goalkeeper, but I thought he was poor today. Arsenal would get a goal just before half time though. Lacazette, a quite brilliant goal that he kind of made himself, rifled into the back of the net. Brilliant goal from him. And that also gave Arsenal a chance to push forward. And they did. I mean, the second half, they certainly had the better of it. Tottenham seemed to be hanging on for dear life. Why Davison Sanchez was playing at right back, and I know first I don't understand the situation with Serge Aurier. I mean, maybe there's something I'm missing. I know there was problems when he was at PSG, but you've sold Kyle Walker, so I mean, surely he's got to be playing at right back, or you play a back three. I mean, so playing a back three against Aubameyang, Lacazette, and Pepe would be suicide, really. But it was a strange one. I mean, Tottenham were really hanging on, and Arsenal actually would get an equaliser. Lacazette had to come off an injury, and then Aubameyang had to go through the middle. Before that, though, Guendouzi had a shot at goal just inside the box. Brilliant save by Lloris though to push it away. In between that, before that, Harry Kane had a really good effort on goal. Where he actually almost found the far post. It was a really phenomenal goal if he'd scored it, but he smacked it off the post. Really good effort from him. And Arsenal would get an equaliser though. Guendouzi again, I mean, absolutely delicious ball into the box, and Aubameyang, first to react, a striker's instinct, pokes the ball home for 2-2, and Arsenal were level. And it only looked like there was going to be one winner, but they couldn't really, they just couldn't get over the line, and they were almost kind of letting Tottenham back into it. Tottenham could have almost kind of stole it at the other end themselves with a bit more kind of composure. Arsenal would put the ball in the net for a third time, but the goal was rightfully ruled out for offside. But by that point, there's still 10 minutes left, and they were well on top. I mean, there was a statistic at one point in the game where Tottenham had only been in Arsenal's half for 1% in the last 10 minutes. So, I mean, Arsenal, they looked like they wanted it more, but they obviously didn't want it quite enough because they just couldn't quite get that third goal. So that's really it. I mean, the other game was Everton and Wolves, and that seemed like an absolute barnstormer. Unfortunately, I didn't get to see that, but there was 3 goals in the opening 12 minutes. Iwobi got his first goal for Everton. Richarlison got a couple of goals as well. Jimenez as well got a goal for Wolves too. So yeah, I mean that's the weekend football. Obviously, very disappointed about the Rangers result. I mean, say credit to Celtic, and Arsenal and Tottenham was a 2-2 draw. I mean, that was a game that really just swung by pendulum. Team scores or a situation that happened. That was just the way it was. But yeah, the situation with Xhaka, he got booked towards the end of the game, but I mean, he really should have been booked for the penalty. It was a sliding challenge in the box. I mean, that should have been a yellow card. So really, he should have walked in the game. I mean, he's obviously been sent off quite a few times for Arsenal, but that's really it. I mean, I hope you enjoyed the video. It's probably not my best effort, but we'll have more in the future.